This is the day that the Most High has made, and I don't know about you, but I'm going to rejoice and be glad in this day. Anyway, you all, pardon my absence for the past few days. We've been quite busy here on the farm getting some things ready and situated for the season. I know it's still March. Nonetheless, we still have things to do in preparation for planting season. Some things we've already gotten planted, and some things we are still waiting for. Gotta wait till it's warm enough. You know how that goes. But the work has got to get started. Hey, listen up, everybody. I know a lot of you have been feeling very similar these days. We've been feeling like something very strange is happening in this ever-changing world. This world has changed so much so. From one day to the next, you don't know what you're going to get up and see or hear. You don't know what the next day brings. Now, we know what the Bible says. Biblical prophecy tells us, or should I say warns us, that something is on the horizon. We can all see it and sense it. We know that something is on the horizon. It cannot be stopped by man. Okay, it was prophesied. And we all know that once the Most High's word goes forth out of his mouth, it shall not return void. And then, of course, we also know that some people try to avoid that statement. Some people want to forget about that and want to convince themselves that none of this stuff matters. I feel like lately, as I observe this world, I feel like a lot of people have willingly fallen back to sleep. They have not only allowed things and the cares of this life to lull them back to sleep, but they themselves have made a conscious effort to lull themselves back to sleep, singing their own lullabies to convince themselves of the fraud of being back to normal. Yes, if you think everything has gone back to normal, you are living a fraud, because the Bible clearly tells us that certain things are going to take place in the last days, and certain signs need to be adhered to know this. But there are those who are refusing to acknowledge those signs. They don't want to even think about it, and they believe as long as they don't acknowledge something, that they don't have to worry about it. No need to even concern yourself about it, because I don't believe that's how a lot of people think. They really think that things are based on whether or not they believe it. That is one of the, how can I put this? That is one of the deceptions that people fall under. It is what it is. As we go forth in this world and we see things and we do things, it is becoming more and more clear that things have changed a great deal, and that there will be no going back to what folk call normal. If you really think about it, there never really was a normal. The world has been in a spiritual decline for a long time, right? Normal, if you really understood it, would be how things should have been from Jump Street, right? But ever since the enemy, the devil, introduced all of his little trickery into the world, it hasn't been normal, right? But it seems to have gone from bad to worse. And the Bible even tells us, it warns us, that evil men will wax worse and worse. And we see that happening. Of course, when it says evil men, it's talking about women too, y'all. People are going from bad to worse. There is no real, how can I put this? There is no real respect for the order of the Most High. But guess what, y'all? The Most High, he is going to be reestablishing fear of him again in this earth. As a matter of fact, he's already started. But some people, they still don't want to acknowledge it. Just because you don't acknowledge something, don't make it vanish or disappear. It doesn't vanish or disappear because you don't believe it, or you don't acknowledge it, or you don't accept it. I want you all to start keeping your eyes open. This time I'm talking about your spiritual eyes. Know and understand that something is on the horizon. It is. Something is happening, major. And we all have to shake ourselves loose. I'm not excluded from that, you all. When I say shake ourselves loose, we have to make sure that there is nothing here on this earth that is going to take our focus and attention from the task at hand. Now, I know that there are things we are required to do. This is already known. That is a given. The Bible tells us to occupy until he comes, right? We know these things. But we want to make sure that the cares of this life don't choke out the word. Sometimes the cares of this life can get so much in our minds that we forget that we have a job to do, right? One of the biggest jobs we have is to be a light to this world. A light in the midst of this darkness. If we really understood the darkness that surrounds us, we would definitely try to ignite the light. Too many people are allowing their lights to dim or be put out by the cares of this life. They think that this life, this very, very temporary life, is going to go on and on and on. No, this temporary life is just that. It is temporary. This temporary life is just like a vapor. It is here one moment and gone the next. How many of you all know what I'm talking about when I say a lot of people are leaving here? Whether it's family or friends, neighbors or co-workers, it seems like a lot of people are leaving here. We talk to family and friends and even people that we see along the way. There's all this talk about this person just passed away, this person left here unexpectedly. And they're getting younger and younger, guys. What do you think's happening? It's time to get our spiritual eyes open. I just wanted to start off today with this message because, like I said, I haven't been before you in a few days now. We've been very, very busy on the farm. One of the things that I wanted to just really drive home, one of the points I wanted to drive home was the fact that there is a massive effort to dumb down society, and they are using every method imaginable. Every method. And guess what some of those methods are, y'all? Some of those methods are the very foods that we eat. This stuff is affecting us. I went to a website, Fooducate, to look up some ingredients, and you would really trip out. I think it's important that we start to question everything, y'all. You would really trip out if you understood that a lot of these things that they are putting in what they call food is a slow kill. And of course, it starts in your gut. It starts in your bloodstream. It starts in your brain cells. Oh my goodness, it's a massive effort. And it really trips me out when you look up and you see that other countries are bowing out. They're like, no, we will not allow this stuff to be fed or served to our population. So that should really help us to see that some of us are living behind enemy lines where they don't care about its population. They don't care what they feed you. First, they feed you a lie and tell you it's okay for you. Because you don't want the truth, you say, oh, okay, they said it's okay, so I'm just going to roll with that. Knowing good and well, you don't feel the same. People today are not the same as they were 50 years ago or 60 or even 100 years ago. Seems like folk were a lot more energetic back then, but something is happening. Are we going to take this lying down, or are we going to keep letting people lie to us and tell us, oh, everything's all right, it's nothing to be concerned about? Are we going to keep falling for that? Because liars are lying to you, and because you've deceived your own self, you just accept it because they said it? I'm telling you all, I feel more than ever the need to grow food that's healthy for us and eat food that's healthy for us. And I think we all need to take more heed to that. And we need to stop taking risks and chances. That's all of us. We all need to stop taking these risks and chances. And let's just purpose in our minds that we're going to pull away from the stuff that we know is doing something evil to our bodies. Man, when you think about it, they said a lot of the stuff that we're eating and drinking is taking years off of our lives. Father, have mercy. Think about that. Years at the moment or the time of death. Imagine thinking about something that you ate that wasn't good for you. And now you realize the moment of truth, that your time on this earth is finished. And you ask yourself, what could I have done different? This message is for everyone under the sound of my voice, including myself. Let's not ask ourselves, what could we have done different when it's too late? Let's do something different now, before it's too late. I have a story that I'm going to share with you all, maybe later on today, if not when I get a chance. But this story just really bothered me. It's really sad. It's something that happened here in the U.S. You know, it's always a lot of stuff happening, especially to so-called black people. You know, there's always a story to tell, because we're living in a time where you have an unrepentant nation who don't care what they do to so-called black folk. They don't care. They just don't care. And that has become abundantly clear. Abundantly clear. So anyway, I think I am done with this video. It's going to warm up later, but right now it's a bit chilly out here. I'm not complaining though. You know, we're not fully out of winter yet as far as some of the weather goes. We're going into spring, but you know, sometimes those chilly days, those chilly moments, they creep up on you. We did have some overnight 30s, and I think recently overnight 20s. Not too many, but one or two nights that were in the 20s. And boy, oh boy, I tell you, that reminds you that you don't want to go into this too quickly, doing too much. You know, I don't know if you can tell, a little congestion in my nose. But I have some tea that I'm going to go get back to, warm up, let it warm up out here a bit before we get going again. So much to do. So much to do. We're trying to get a lot of stuff situated before that heat, that warm, hot weather kicks in. Want to get a whole lot done. So anyway, I thank you all for listening to me. And again, I apologize for my absence in the past few days. Been trying to really hunker down, having family ministry meetings on things that we need to do, directions we need to go, and so on and so on. I want you all to take this stuff serious. Okay, we are in a very, very serious time. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Okay, Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. It ain't just about the food and what we're drinking and how they're poisoning the air. It's not just about that. There's so much more at stake, right? A lot of people are leaving here, and a lot of people don't know where they're going to spend eternity. So I'm hoping that people will begin to open up their eyes and realize that the Most High is not playing, and that it is time to get yourself right. It is time for repentance. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that people will begin to see that. We saw another testimony, and I know I said I'm going to go, but I'll be done in a moment. We saw another testimony of a young man who said he was shot. He was shot several times, and he died twice while they were working on him. And I think Sister Monica shared this with me. But he went on. You could tell he was a little nervous talking, and you know, his sister was trying to encourage him. He was a teenager, guys. He was a teenager, but he was telling how he went to hell, and he was explaining his experience, how the devil was trying to trick him, but he saw the torment of the people. He saw what was going on. He talked about it being a terrible place, but he was giving a description of the devil that most people would be fooled by. Most people would assume that they were in a good place based on the description, but he somehow instinctively knew that this was a deceptive devil that he was dealing with, because everything else showed him that he was in hell, right? We are starting to hear more and more of these kinds of testimonies. This stuff is not to be taken lightly. Consider it a gift. Consider it a gift, okay? Don't take it lightly. Understand that the Most High is trying to get his people to get right. Well, I love you all. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your time. Until the next live or the next video, listen, family, stay prayed up. Stay prayed up.
Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.